ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. Okay, I'd like to read it next. Ramanji, can you start reading from this one?
So you're asking me, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Vedanta cannot be understood without a guru. Tadvijnanartam sa gurumeva bi gachet. Samit
Samit Pani,
Samit
Srotriyam Brahmanishtam.
Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam. The Shruti gives me the key to know the Vastu, that is, which is Atma. It says, Gurumeva Bigachet Abhigachet. May one go Gurumeva only to a teacher. Do not go elsewhere. Do not study by yourself. Why should I not study the Shastra on my own? The Shastra itself urges me to go to a Guru. Suppose I go to a Guru and he teaches me something else. Therefore, we have to define the Guru. The Guru should be a Shrotriya, one who has studied the Veda in general and who knows the teaching tradition, Sampradaya. He should, he should also be a Pandita, who has the knowledge of the Karma Kanda, the first portion of the Veda. Further, the Guru is not only a Shrotriya and Pandita, but also a Brahmanishta, one who is well informed of the Shastra dealing with Brahman. He understands Brahman as being non-separate from the self, Atma. How would one know if he is a Brahmanishta? Okay, how would one know if he is a Brahmanishta? What are the distinguishing features, lakshanas of a Brahmanishta? You inquire from others, people who are more informed than you, whether he knows the subject matter. We say that the one who does not have commitment to anything else is a Brahmanishta. The one whose Nishta is only the pursuit of Brahman. Brahmanishta really speaks of a life of a sadhu, a sannyasi, or a life similar to sannyasa. The use of the word eva is to make sure Guru is one, which is who is Shrotriya and a Brahmanishta, and that you should choose him as your teacher. When such a person teaches, he is a Guru. The attitude of a student is also pointed out. Samit Panihi, who has a Samit in his hand. Samit means twigs of the Ashwatha people tree. These are generally offered to the fire by both brahmacharis and grahasthas. Samit Panihi means something useful is offered to the teacher. That is the idea. Rikta Panir na Pashyata Raja Rajanam Daivatam Gurum. By convention, it is said that when you visit a temple or meet a king or a teacher, you should not go empty handed. You need to offer something. It reveals an attitude of seva. With such an attitude, you approach a teacher to gain knowledge. Even though Vedanta is a means for self knowledge in the form of words, the words have to be understood by the student, the seeker. Words such as Nityam, Anantam, Purnam, Satyam become mere words if they are not understood properly. These words have to be analyzed, which involves a particular method of teaching. They cannot be understood by oneself because they are not words like umbrella, door, table, chair, pumpkin, and so on, all of which connote an object. The Shastra says that Brahman is beyond words. Once it says that it is beyond words and it has to be conveyed, the communication cannot be ordinary. The truth of Brahman being what it is available for every word as well as no word. Therefore, to reveal what is Brahman, we need to use words dealing with reality. You understanding of reality words are normally used in the sense of an adjective or attribute. Use them to reveal. We use. Okay, sir. Thanks. We use them to reveal by implication the substantive, the very thing itself. We see an object and say it is either true or false. Suppose I say that whatever you see is not true. I do not say it as false. I do not say it is false. I only say that it is not satyam. It is not true. I also say that one who sees this and because of whom the sight is possible is satyam. By saying so, I create a situation by which I reveal what the truth is, what satyam is. From what from that position you cannot okay, from that position you cannot but recognize the truth. One in an appearance and the other is the truth. The two, appearance and truth, are mistaken one for the other and could confuse the student. Therefore, we need to use words that we know and at the same time convey the truth by definition. Lakshana. Pramana now becomes a necessity and it needs to be handled properly. Wherever wherever there is lakshanas, we need to create a context. A position from where you cannot but see has to be created, which only a teacher can do. A book cannot. The book will say Satyam Gnanam Anantam Brahma. It does not create a position. It teaches it is the teacher who creates a situation from where you cannot but see. One may ask the question as to how the teacher got to this position. It is because of his teacher. How did that teacher get to this knowledge? It is because of her teacher. How did he get this? Again, it is because of his teacher. Who is the first teacher? The first teacher is your first father. Who is my first father? He is the first teacher. The first father then is Ishvara. The first father then is Ishvara, who is also the first Guru. It has to come from only from Ishvara. In fact, all knowledge is from Ishvara. Thus, a guru becomes a very important factor in gaining knowledge. Hence, Veda suggests that you seek a guru. Guru meva abhigachet. It's the teaching.
I think, is there anything to discuss or any question or anything? Okay, then I think Nirmala ji can continue from that teaching.
Hari Om. No, it's clear, Shamu, by more or less, since you asked. So, the teaching. In order for us to understand the Upadesha, the teaching of Vedanta, we need to look at a dialogue in the 6th chapter of the Chandogya Upanishad. The dialogue is between the father by name Uttalaka and his son Shvetaketu. The father, a Stotriya, sends his 12-year-old son to the Gurukula as an Antevasi. Antevasi means the one who stays with the Guru Samipe, as a family member. He lives, studies, and grows in the presence of his Guru in terms of his learning. Shvetaketu stayed in the Gurukula for 12 years. He was a brilliant student and Anuchanaman, someone who was conscious that he was brilliant and could repeat anything that was taught to him. His pride was very visible in his gait and his manners. Having graduated from the Gurukula at the age of 24, he returned home. The father was upset at Shvetaketu's attitude. He called him and said, Shvetaketu, tell me, did you ask your teacher for that knowledge? Yena vijnane sarvam vijnatam syat, gaining which everything is as well gained. Shvetaketu replied, I don't think my teacher knew this. The question was, did you ask? But the answer was, I don't think my teacher knew. We have to imagine what would have been Shvetaketu's thought process. He could have thought I was regarded as a brilliant student. Had my teacher known such knowledge, he certainly would have taught me, his star pupil. Perhaps his father's look revealed. What did I ask and how do you answer? I never asked whether your teacher knew this. I only asked whether you had asked for this knowledge. You could have said that you did not ask for it. Shvetaketu realized his mistake. He gave the reason for not asking because he did not know such knowledge existed. Then he asked his father, Is there such knowledge? Udalaka says, Yes, there is such knowledge. Very beautiful.
Soumya ji can continue.
Yeah, Hari Om. Knowing the one, everything is as well known. Uddalaka then gives three examples reveal that the knowledge of one leads to the knowledge of everything else. He cites the first example. Sarvam. Can you read the whole thing, Shamobai? Shamobai, can you just read that sentence in Sanskrit?
Sorry, I was muted. Ekena mritpindena sarvam mrunmayam vijnanadam syad, because vacharambam vikaro namadheyam mrittigaityeva satyam. If you take, sorry.
Okay. If you take a pot made of clay, and if you have understood everything about this pot, then you have understood everything that is made of clay. Three words that understanding of realities. They are satyam, real, anantam, false, anritam, false, and tucham, non-existent. For instance, circle exists. I am not talking about a square within a circle or a square within a a circle within a square. I'm talking a circle and it does not exist. When you say it does not exist, the Sanskrit word reveals your understanding of the non-existence of the square circle. There is no object called tucham. Understanding of the reality that it does not exist. You can say tucham and people can understand it. Another example dream where you won a lottery. After many years of trying your luck, you hit the jackpot last night. It is tucham, non-existent. It was not like a square circle. It was real in the dream as an experience. You even threw a party for your friends. It was as long as it lasted. On waking up, you understood that it was your dream was a projection. At times, while awake, also you project. You see a snake where there is none. Then you look closer at the same object, and the snake that you saw goes away, and there is only a rope. The rope is understood as the real object here. The snake there is tucham, nor it is satyam. It is fault, unvritam. The rope snake is purely subjective and it is your projection, therefore it is unwritten false. If we take the rope, it is tucham, non-existent. No, it is not. It is unwritten, false. It is satyam, real? Yes. Satyam. When you say rope is satyam, there are twisted strings that make up the rope. Is the string satyam or the rope satyam? If the rope is an object, string is also a word for which there is an object. If I take the object, please scroll, which is which is revealed by the word rope and the strings. Will you have a rope? There will be no rope. Then how can you say that the rope is satyam? What about the string? Understand when you return to the pot. I hold an object in my hand and I ask you, what is this object? You say it is a pot. I say it is a clay. Both of us are referring to the same object by two different words. If both of us refer to the same object but different words, then neither of us are wrong, or one is wrong and the other is right, or both of us are right. Two words are used. You say it is pot. I say it is clay. Both of us are right. If both of if both the words are synonyms denoting the same object, then both of us are right. In fact, equally right. Are the words pot and clay synonymous? No, they are not. When they are not synonymous, then we have to say both, but one is more right and the other. Who is more right? While the pot holds water, pot is more right than clay. It is not so? When I weigh the pot, does the weight belongs to the pot or the clay? It belongs to the clay. The weight of the pot is the weight of the clay. Proof that the pot is more real, but it is not true. Pot has no weight. You cannot argue the pot holds water and therefore it is more real. That argument does not hold water. Let us try to understand this pot. There are two objects. Is it a pot? No. The whole pot is clay. Everything tangible here is pot and the can you say that the clay is pot? You cannot, because when you understand clay, does your understanding include potness? No. The clay is clay. But when you say clay pot, that your pot is not separate from the clay, it is a pot made of any substance, clay, copper, silver, gold, platinum, or plastic. Now think of a pot without the material it is made of. After all, we are capable of imagining. You cannot imagine a pot independent of its material. The pot is clay. Can you say that the pot is sitting upon clay? Pot is upon clay, and then you can remove the pot. Can you remove the pot? You cannot. Is the pot in the clay? Is the clay in the clay is clay? The pot is not upon the clay. It is not inside the clay. Then the pot of the clay with a distance between the pot and the clay? It is not. It is not tucham, like a square circle. It is not false either, like the rope snake that you project. What is left out for us is only one word, satyam. Therefore, pot is satyam. If the pot is satyam, then what about clay? Clay is also satyam, but that is not equally true. We are not dealing with two things here. The weight of the pot is the weight of the clay. The feel of the pot is the feel of the clay. You need to understand this much. Satyam is only clay. Then what about the pot in your understanding of its reality? Vedanta is the discovery of reality. It is not the reality of your experiences. Reality of what you experience, such as what you see, what you know, what you are. We are trying to understand the reality of all of them. That is why it is jnanam, knowledge. Then what is the status of the pot? We have no words because we have no understanding. Words are necessary only when we understand something. If we do not understand, we don't need a word. In fact, one's whole world is lived in searching for and seeking various reality, sadhya, artha, kama, etc., without really understanding what the reality is, what satyam is. If the clay is satyam, then what reality does the pot have? Pot has a role to play. It holds water, it has a use, except that it has no reality. Amazing reality. So this pot is not tucham, it is not anritam, and it is not satyam. If it is not all of these, then let us call this pot mithya. No equivalent English word for mithya, nor do we need an English word. What is the nature of mithya? Mithya is that which does not have an independent existence and depends on something else for its existence. A pot is mithya, drawing its being, its weight, its existence from nothing. Therefore, Satyam is one that lends existence to the pot. You count clay and 1 million clay pots. Do you know all the pots? No. You only require to know the truth of one pot. Then all the clay pots, the whole earthen world is also known as Vijnanena Sarvatam Vijinantam Bhavati. However, clay undergoes a change because it is baked. It becomes more brittle and its characteristics change. So, Uddalaka gives another examples of gold. Sarvanam and various bhushanani, ornaments, where there is no change whatsoever, even though there are different names for corresponding forms. 1 gold plus 1 million ornaments is equal to only 1 gold. 1 plus million is 1. 1 ton gold and 1 million ornaments, no matter where they are. All our gold ornaments are as well understood. They need not be seen or counted. If they are made of gold, it is all gold, because what is reckoned is one. Forms can be many, such as chain, bangle, ring, and so on. Chain is a word of indicates a form. Chain is an object does not exist. Chain as an object does not exist. Ring as an object does not exist. What exists is entirely different from what you think exists. Chain is a name for which there is a corresponding form. Bangle is a name for which has a corresponding form. But these are simple ornaments without any other practical use except for which they were intended. In the world, there are many useful functional things. Uddalaka gives the third example of Iloha, iron, an instrument. The examples he gives is Nikrana, Nikranatam, Nikaha, nail, Nikranam, nail cutter. The nail cutter is made of steel. Others, such as scissors, chisel, hammer, a bolt, a nut, have different forms and names. They are useful, but all of them exist in steel. They are not separate from steel. All there is steel. We are trying to understand reality. All the expertise and technology is in terms of how we can make use of these things. A nail is a shrishta, created. A chain is a created. A nail cutter is created. All for particular purposes, no doubt. When you go for reality without dismissing the use or the purpose for a given thing, you see it only one, plus name and form. Like gold plus a name and form is revealed by the word chain. The truth of chain is gold alone, revealing fact. So much was packed into this.
Yeah, basically it is just that We can take different examples like clay, iron, or wood. We have many things that we make from it, like chair. You can from wood you can make a chair, you can make a table. Ultimately, but the what that object is just the wood. It does not have something else in it. Wood does not have something special to create a chair or anything. It does not undergo any. Actually, the substance is not different. Say it is just wood. Similarly, iron or steel also can take different forms. Clay can have make you can make a pot or something, some other vessel from clay or steel. Ultimately, what it is that substance only. There is no uh, a steel pot without steel. There is no clay pot without clay. So basically, it is nothing but that that substance. It is not a different substance. So similarly, the truth of this entire world is nothing but Brahman. That is what we are getting at from this example. If not anything you want to say, please. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Okay, Prasonaji, can you continue the next portion from now?
Knowledge of the One sustains everything. There is such a thing as knowledge of the One which sustains everything. Iti evam vijnanam eka vijnanam asti. Just as 1,000,000 ornaments are born of gold, they are sustained by the gold, and if they are melted away, they still remain as gold. By these examples, the possibility was established. Knowing one thing, everything is as well known. What is reckoned is only one, and everything else is nothing but the same thing alone, but with various forms and names. Similarly, if this entire Jagat world is born of one Satyam reality, sustained by the same reality, and into which it goes back, and if you know that Satyam, then you know everything as well. When Uddalaka taught with these examples and proved it, Svetaketu was convinced that there is such knowledge and that he did not ask his teacher for that knowledge. He asked his father to teach him, and Uddalaka teaches. In the Chandogya Upanishad, this how the teaching starts. Sadeva Saumya idamagre asit ekameva dvityam. Idam. Idam means this. What is experienced by you, understood by you as an object of this world of time, space, the entire Jagat Asit was. How was it? Asit. Sadeva Asit. It was without any differentiation. It was purely as Sat. Sat is the Vastu. Let us call it Sat. Just as before the creation of the ornaments, gold alone was. How many gold? One gold was Asit. How did the world of ornaments exist? It existed in an undifferentiated form. After the goldsmith interfered, the ornaments came to be. The goldsmith doesn't do anything, really speaking. He brings out the potential of the material with his skill and knowledge. He had the knowledge of all the names, the words. Word means knowledge. Let us assume both the chain and the bangle have a human mind. Both are confused. For creating confusion, you require a human mind. The chain was happy in the beginning until it saw the bangle. When it saw the bangle, it became jealous and thought, "Oh, I am lost. I have no job satisfaction at all. Nobody looks at me. Look at the bangle. It is always available for public appreciation." So the chain wished it were a bangle. The bangle had its own problem. It complained, "Look at the chain. It is very close to the person while I am in a remote corner. And this woman is a water freak. Every day I see her every time she washes her hands. Every time she washes her hands, I get a scratch. Look at the scratches. Look at the scratches I have. I wish I were a chain." The chain and the bangle require enlightenment. Enlightenment. The chain is taught, "Chain, you are not just a chain, you are gold. The same gold from which gold all ornaments have come, by which gold all these are sustained, unto which gold all will go back. That ever-shining, rust-free gold, Tat Tvam Asi, you are that." The chain wonders, "Really?" "Yes." Seeing the chain very happy, the bangle asks, "How come you are so happy?" The chain then teaches the bangle Tat Tvam Asi equation.
Yeah, we can stop here. And
Oh,
is there anything to discuss, or I will continue?
Yeah, just like reiteration basically. So here, uh, okay, Shamu, can you mute? Like it's a lot of
Yeah,
noise.
sure, sure.
Okay, yeah, sorry, thanks. Okay, what I was just trying to say is like we'll just, I mean, like I will try to reiterate what I understood. So, for example, if we take a gold chain, it is neither tucham because it's not like non-existent. It is not anritam also. It is not false, but it is satyam. But this satyam is like this chain is a mithya because it's a projection based. It's a projection, but it depends on the reality of the gold. So chain is a matyam, but the gold is the satyam. So a chain is basically neither tucham nor anrutam, but a mithya, which depends on the satyam gold. So is this understanding correct, Shami? By can you just like explain?
Yeah, that's correct. It is neither tucham, it is not neither satyam. No, satyam in the absolute sense. It has a dependent reality, but can we say it is the ultimate reality? If you ask that, no, it is has a functional reality. It has a use, and we can use bangle can be used for a certain purpose. We cannot use a chain for the same purpose, but and we cannot use the bangle for the purpose of chain. So basically it is there is a reality, there is a use in our world, but ultimately it's just everything. What is it? It is just gold. So it is mithya. So even actually speaking, we can even understand this gold is also mithya only. Everything we can then go on, because ultimately gold is a certain atom with electrons in a certain, I don't remember old chemistry and all, but it is basically it is just a collection of atoms, nothing else. So similarly we can divide anything in the matter into this again into several this into minor and minor particles, smaller and smaller particles, and but that way we cannot actually understand Brahman, because it is not visible, or it can never be understood by senses, no matter how much you uh, no matter how much better your microscope gets, you can only reach a point where you understand that the basic, whatever is the basic reality of this world and everything in this creation, that is nothing but it is the same for any object or any living or non-living. basically it is nothing but the same. So that same reality is Brahman. That is what we are trying to understand. And that basic reality only is actually, we can, in the absolute sense, we can only say that is the only thing that is Satyam. Everything else is Mithya, has a dependent reality on Mithya. Sorry, a dependent reality on the Satyam. So Brahman is the main, the absolute Satya. Everything else, this world is Mithya. So it's not saying that this world is an illusion. World is not an illusion. It is very much real for us. But it has a dependent reality on the Satyam. Satyam is Brahman. Was it clear, or should I?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, like, if we go on dividing there, we will reach a state like where everything else is based upon, and that ultimate,
Yeah,
yeah, that ultimate reality will be the Brahman.
yeah, we cannot exactly reach at Brahman. We cannot know that, we cannot divide something into Brahman. It will reach a point where we can no longer divide. That's what is going to happen. But we can understand that the more we go, the more we see the, what you can say, the similarity between different. We know that just going to the atoms, um, the atoms state, we can take everything is nothing but atom. The same atom, but the electron or proton configuration is different. So ultimately, we can see that we going towards unity. We cannot reach that unity. We cannot divide and reach Brahman, but we can see that it is tending towards the unity. So yeah, that,
Yeah,
I think.
correct. I mean, like, we cannot keep dividing and say we reach Brahman. I agree. But it is like
Yeah,
we can try to like go into that base existence, like where on which everything is dependent. As you said, like maybe everything is just dependent on how many protons and how many neutrons and electrons are like
yeah.
bound together and form an atom. And similarly, like there can be like something which is what you say, substrate of everything else. And there are, I'm like, I was just like going through one thing like which is also was an experiment in quantum physics, where they basically say this world is an illusion, because unless there is an observer, there is no existence of this world itself.
Yeah, dependent reality. The world is actually dependent reality. So Mithya would be a correct word to use. But you cannot expect scientists to use Mithya and all. So yeah, we can see that what we learn from this Vedanta, we can see that uh, it is supported by other like science or whatever is up. We cannot see, it cannot be verified, but we can see that the it is in line with what science and all. It is not, it cannot be dismissed by science. So that we can understand, we can see that as I just said, it tends to this division, we can see that it tends to some more unity, more and more unity when we divide it further. So that, yeah. What is
Yeah, agree.
Nirmala is saying something?
Okay. I just wanted to say one thing. Like, I was not trying like to say that Vedanta requires scientific proof or
Yeah, I
saying
understood.
it
I was
could
just
be,
saying
yeah,
the
it could be
clarity.
just like, it could be just like with their experiments also, they are trying to understand the final reality itself. Like, they are also trying to reach the same conclusion, which is not much different from Vedanta. Like, because this is one of the things which is like wrongly understood by many people and easily dismissed by Dvaitians as such. When you say world is mithyam, they will say, oh, it's false. Like, I can see this tree. How is it false? They simply dismiss. Like, I've seen this being done even by uh, so-called like gurus also. So, yeah. Anyway, regardless. I just wanted to, like, I remembered that, so I thought I will just mention.
Yeah. Please do participate in discussions and please continue. So otherwise, it would be just like myself going on and on. So yeah, basically that is correct. The many, especially more than Dvaitins, gives Dvaitins the stick to beat us is that our own people saying world is an illusion or like that. Many people do that, totally dismissing world, which is not correct. Which is so that gives them a stick to beat us. Uh, the real Vedanta does not say world is not unreal. It is just as though real. It has a dependent reality. So from that sense, we can really understand. Otherwise, dismissing, we can see in this Neo Vedanta, everything they will say, oh, world is not real. Everything is Brahman. So why worry about it? They dismiss everything and like we should not worry about anything. It is like imposing a rule. We should, when we say something like we can say Hindu issues, for example, we can say, oh, ultimately everything is Brahman, let everybody convert, should we worry? That kind of reasoning is given by this Neo Vedantin. It's actually nothing but escapism. So that is not Vedanta. Vedanta, we understand and accept the relative reality of this world. We want to act according to dharma in this world, and we have to, as we have seen in Bhagavad Gita and all, Bhagavan Bhagavan does reiterate on the need to act according to dharma for people, but we are just not getting carried away by that, by the relative reality of, we not getting carried away by the relative reality and um, trying to know the ultimate reality, that is Satya, that is Brahman. Yeah. Is there anything, any point or any question or anything? Please discuss.
No, Shamubai, I just wanted to share that about the atom molecule example. Prashantji had said it so many times in the Gita Satsanga, so Hemanji can have a look if he has time. So it'll clear also that this concept.
Yeah, he knows science background, so it was actually I learned from him.
Yeah, sure. I mean, like, I'll try to catch up on those videos as well.
Yeah, that would be great. Actually, it was very knowledgeful, informative experience for me to know about more. You can understand that science actually does support what we say. Science cannot dismiss what Vedanta says. It just cannot reach where what Vedanta does. It cannot, because it is basically, as we have seen in the earlier, it is basically dependent upon these five pramanas, which fail to. That five means of knowledge cannot know Brahman. That's it. But it cannot dismiss this. That's the point. There is nothing else we can close up here. So we have to start with Tattvamasi equation. Can we close? Okay.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Sai Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om.
Thank you.